Hello, everybody. I forgot to grab my bell. I was gonna ring my bell, ring my bell. Hello, everybody. I decided that I'm here alone with my cat, so I thought, you know what? I think I'm gonna do a live stream because I've got nothing else to do on a Friday night. And Rachel Maddow, is she on tonight? She usually takes Fridays off, so. Hello, everybody. I've got a couple questions already that I'm starting to write down, and I'm going to be doing a blitz. So, how is everybody today? Hi to Jane, Robert, Lucien, Gracie. Hello. The timeline of how Trump administration will end. I can try, but timelines are hard for me. It's more like following the energy. SR, Wandering Eyes, Sylvie, hello, Kirsten. Yes, I'm going to take a few minutes to say hi to people. Kristen, Catherine, Miriam, hello, Tony, Todd, Kathy, Mickey, Sharon, Debbie, Grace, Jane, oh, Teresa, yay, Rosie, hello. So hello, everybody, Lori, Impish Artist, I'll keep coming back to everybody's questions, but I want to make sure that we get started. Hi from Australia. Yay! Newt. And Jazzy. Hello from Jazzy. Very nice. Hi, Robert. Phyllis, hello. Good to see you. So I'm glad everybody got to come to the reading who got to come to the reading, and the people who are in Europe might be asleep, so I do apologize. I try to stagger it depending upon, if you only do it in the morning, then your night people can't see it. If you only do it at night, your morning people. So I'm trying to be fair and dole it out. Sometimes I do. Hi, Linda. Sometimes I try to, I do either night or morning, depending upon my schedule, so that everybody can see the live streams. I was asked if I could announce when the live streams are. Unfortunately, it really has to do with my schedule. If I have a free evening, I'll do one. If I have a free morning, I'll do one. All right, so a couple of the things that I wanted to talk about has to do with following energy and how energy and how meditation can allow us to try to the best of our ability to objectively look at energy. And this is one of the things that's so empowering about doing these types of meditations, that like the type that we share here on this channel. The meditations techniques that I share are based on empathy work, compassion work, mediation. These techniques have been used in wartime to prevent war, but also by strategists in cases of war. And I think different cultures have used some version of remote viewing. Now, originally, when I was a teenager, when I was young, teens and 20s, I tried doing the more traditional way, which was to simply look at targets and locations. But I found that I couldn't transport myself somewhere unless I was emotionally attached to the place or thing I was trying to get to. I had to open my heart and feel an emotional connection. And through an emotional connection, I was able to get in. Now, this begs the question, which is better? Should you do the heart-centered technique or should you do the typical location technique? I think that people should learn both and then just find out which technique works better for you. I think that for people who are using the technique where it's just location, that's a good starting point. And then if you want to try other techniques, that's fine. Or if you say, you know what, I prefer more healing energy, heart-centered energy work, then I think that's fine as well. No one has prosecuted the Trumps yet. I know, it's weird. So I'm going to say again what the energy looked like, the most likely conclusion following the energy. And this was something that we documented about 1.5 years ago. It looked like the investigations inevitably would begin to get stronger and stronger and stronger, and more people would get involved, and more lawsuits would be involved, and potential deposition. That was one thing I saw escalating. The second is just the realization that we're talking about a senior citizen, so physical, mental health, stress, etc. can this person objectively do 2 terms? Possibly, if they were somebody who was in good health, took good care of themselves. But given the way that this president takes care of himself, it's questionable whether or not it would be wise for him, just from a health perspective, to take on the stress of another term. So that's something else you have to take into consideration. But during the meditations, it looked like the opposition would grow steadily over time, and it would evolve into impeachment in the House. And I think he's going to leave before it gets to impeachment in the Senate. That is my impression. Other people say, no, he's going to have to be drug out of there. It just doesn't look that way from my perspective when I go into the meditation. It looks like they're already trying to negotiate something in terms of trying to keep him out of jail or keep him from being prosecuted. The other thing that I've been feeling lately is that some secret deal may have already happened, in the sense that there's more cooperation going on between Donald Trump and the intelligence agencies than was going on originally. And this is a feeling I've been getting since before the government shutdown, that they somehow have him. Either they've got the tapes, either our intelligence agencies have the tapes as well, and he knows it, but something is being held over it feels like something is being held over Trump's head by our intelligence agencies, limiting what he can and can't do in the White House. There's this feeling like he had to end the government shutdown because of threats from certain people. That was an impression I got. The thing that kind of makes me sad about this whole thing, I had a client come in earlier today and we talked about it, is just how rarely people change their karma. It's kind of sad in a way, because we really do have the capacity to change our karma and to change our patterns. So looking at a meditation a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that was saying most likely impeachment in the House, rising tide of impeachment in the Senate, and then early resignation in exchange for immunity. And you think, well, maybe somebody will have redemption, maybe somebody will have some enlightening experience and they'll do things a little differently. But a year and a half later, it's moving slower actually than I thought it was going to take. I thought it was going to happen a lot faster, but the same dynamic is unfolding. And I think the Democrats, today was the milestone. We reached the majority of Democrats now calling for impeachment hearings. So, you would think that we would be dancing in the streets and celebrating people that are Democrats, but it isn't that kind of a feeling. It's more like, damn, we're going to have to do this. This is, this is just, it seems like it's inevitably now where we're headed. So it is what it is. I also wanted to just briefly, I forgot to say thank you to Michelle. I absolutely love this. I got a card with no return address from Miss Michelle. And I won't read her card out of respect for her privacy, but thank you very much. It's a beautiful card with a kitty on it. And she handmade this scarf. And look at the detail. Is that not beautiful? And what I love about this scarf was, I was thinking, it's so hot in the summertime. It's so hot in Los Angeles. I wish somebody could invent a scarf that's really light, that's not hot, that I could wear in the summertime. And then I got this from Michelle. So thank you, Michelle. I had meant to thank you before we started today's video. So anyway, so I don't see anything changing. I don't see, like I said, maybe people will surprise us, but in a way it's kind of sad. Everything is kind of, the only thing that was surprising, and this is disappointing, is how long the Republicans held on. I mean, it looks like finally Fox News dumped the president. The Koch brothers, the Mercers, people just started de-investing. But I mean, other than de-investing, I don't really know what plan the Republicans have to. It seems like they're slowly pulling the plug. They're really concerned. I know the intelligence agencies are really concerned about social unrest, and that's kind of interesting. I wanted to also mention something about Nancy Pelosi, and something I had seen in the cards with Nancy Pelosi, that there's a couple things with Nancy Pelosi. The first is that she did not want to push impeachment or anything until she had a guarantee that the president was not going to reject any future bills. Any future the future of the finances. She didn't want to have another government shutdown. So the president just signed ensuring that there won't be another government shutdown. So she wanted to take care of that first, because if she hadn't, he would have potentially held that over her head, and it would have put them in a situation where they couldn't move towards impeachment because he would have threatened a government shutdown. So there was that dynamic when I went into Nancy Pelosi's energy, that she had to be very, very careful, but she couldn't say it publicly, that she was worried about him threatening a government shutdown. She had to think about the safety of the country, the fact that this person doesn't appear to be very emotionally stable. So that was the first thing. The other thing that she's waiting for is the taxes. So it's not that she is delay with no intention of impeaching. She wants, when she impeaches this person, to, number one, make sure he's not going to threaten something, take some powers and use them in a way that's going to threaten the American people or threaten his political rivals. So she wants to secure that first. And then once they have the tax returns, along with the fact that the majority of Democrats want to impeach him, that's what she meant by leverage. So at that point, if she has him, if they have the files, if they know everything, if the intelligence agencies have film footage, if she's got the files, why impeach him? The only reason to impeach him would be the moral and ethical reasons why she's required to impeach him. But if you have film footage, if you've got the intelligence agencies threatening him, if you've got his tax returns, if you've got the majority of the Democrats on your side, then theoretically you could hamstring him. You could control the president, and he'd make it so he couldn't run again, which seems to be what they're working on, and not have to deal with a Pence presidency. At this point, if she can completely control this president, there's no reason to give us a Pence presidency. So that's how complicated this starts to get. Talk about, I have a list here, is the Hope Hicks. People had said, you're wrong about Hope Hicks. She went in and she brought Trump's lawyers. It's interesting. You put a pin in it and you say, okay, did I get it wrong? This is to other readers who go through stuff like this. It's always possible that we can be biased. We want to be free of bias. That's why I don't like to talk too much about my own political opinions, because it blocks me as a reader. And my goal in life is to be the best reader possible, right? You want to be the best. And the only way to be the best is you have to put your own personal bias aside. So in the case of Hope Hicks, I don't think I had any, I don't think I was coming from a place of any type of personal bias. It was just simply when I went into her Akashic records, it showed that she didn't want to have anything more to do with this president. And there was a feeling of intimidation or fear. So it surprised me to see the president's lawyers with her. So when I sat in her shoes, it was a feeling of being threatened. Whether or not she is behind Trump or not, I can't say. Publicly, it looks like she's aligned with Trump, but energetically, it looks like something very different. All right, so I'm going to go ahead with the time remaining and answer people's questions and go ahead and do a blitz. Let's do a blitz. Let's play. Those are my remotes, though. I wanted to go through and explain a couple of remotes. Hi from Texas. Hello, hello. Melania is sick of the whole thing? Probably. Okay, let's see what we're going to do first. We have a couple questions already that people have asked, so I'm going to try and get through them. Does anybody want to help me filter the, hi Michelle. Hi Michelle, would you moderate for me? Okay, let's see here. All right, Michelle, you're now a moderator. Have fun with that. Woohoo! So you can go ahead and start blocking and removing people. Okay, so the first thing that people had asked me during the Blitz is to check on the Obamas. So let's go ahead and do that. How are the Obamas doing? Now, when I did a remote on Barack Obama 6 months ago, and Michelle Obama, she was the one that came through. Michelle Obama showed up in that remote, and she said, Barack has post-traumatic presidency disorder. And what she meant by that is that he was always very serious, but he had a hard time letting go of the presidency, and he had a lot of trauma over the choices he felt pressured to make when he was the president. So Michelle Obama called it post-traumatic presidency disorder, and it was a window into his relationship and her relationship with George Bush Jr. Because what happened is that, unbeknownst to a lot of people, other than the immediate family, it just felt to me going into the energy like Barack Obama had really been very traumatized by some of the events, some of the choices he had made when he was the president. The bombing of Libya, we all know the consequences of that as far as Putin was concerned, but also the destabilization of the area. He's openly said that the bombing of Libya was his greatest mistake as president. So those kinds of decisions that led to people being killed or destabilized an area, it was that kind of trauma that I picked up on when I went into his energy, and it is part of why he developed a closer relationship with George W. Because George W. had had been able to heal from his own trauma and issues through art, and so they were he was helping Obama transition and deal with some of his own stuff. And I know that Obama's writing a book, so let's go ahead and see what is going on with the Obamas. And his future as a statesman. What's going on with Barack Obama? Base of the matter. He is getting paid to write a book. We know that. It's quite a large advancement he's going to be given. He's actually going to be writing more than one book. He's writing multiple books. They're also showing me a technical book. So the fact that it's technical, he does have a doctoral degree in law. He's probably going to be working on some boring legal stuff or technical writing as well. He's going through an artistic or creative time, just like George Bush Jr. went through an artistic or creative time. The fact that the King of Cups is coming in, the peacemaker is the King of Cups, but it's also the artist, the creative type. Ace of Pentacles moving in, a huge chunk of money. It could be an advance on a book or something like that. And the fact that it's attached to a King of Cups, which is a creative type, would suggest it probably has something to do with writing or some kind of thing that he's producing artistically. Where he's at right now, his inheritance, creating stability, his legacy. The Ten of Pentacles is the legacy card straight up. So there's a possibility. This looks like future foundations, future buildings, future programs that are continuations of the legacy of Barack Obama. You could see the legacy card with the Two of Wands. So establishing a foundation, libraries, education, etc. Just different. He's going to be actively involved in different programs that are part of his legacy. That's the best partnerships. What is above him? His marriage. His marriage went into a lot of trouble. I know that Michelle Obama had talked about the fact that they had gone into counseling for a while. So it had to do with this catatonic state that he went into that was PTSD. Like it was a PTSD kind of a energy where he literally withdrew to such an extent that it had a profound effect on his marriage and his family life. So coming back into his marriage, into his relationship, That's why I think the 10 of Cups is in the 4th house. What he sits in, the sound judge, right? The perfect judge. What I like about his cards is there's a feeling of conviction, but there's also a desire for balance. 4 of Swords moving in for Barack Obama, which is to meditate or to be as still as samadhi, to be as still as death, crossing the 10 of Cups. So a feeling like he wants to balance his life a little bit more and not have it be quite as stressful as it had been over the last, say, 10, 15 years before he retired. 9 of Wands. It's all about, at this point, getting his message out, being involved in ways that are not, he doesn't want to overextend himself, but he does want to secure his legacy and build foundations that are based on the principles or values that he supports. In terms of feeling like the Democratic Party hung up or moved on from this president, I don't think so. It's more that he's actually going to continue to work within the Democratic Party, and he seems to be very involved in working on education programs, scholarship, foundations, etc. It seems to be a really big part of where he's headed. You can see the final outcome. A pioneer card comes up for him. He doesn't get personally insulted too often. That's not what concerns him. What concerns him is that he built a legacy, and then watching this, it took a long time and a lot of work to build what he built in DC, and to watch it be torn to shreds or to have his legacy misrepresented is difficult for him to see. But it really has more to do with not only the work he did, but that the people that worked with him, they worked very, very hard, and to see it all being torn down is very disheartening. But we will rebuild. Final outcome. He never loses his cool. He's Barack Obama. Of course, his outcome is going to be emperor. The ability to have executive thought, right? The ability to be objective. The ability to be the good judge. That's his outcome. He won't take it personally because I think he's kind of above that. All right. So the next question we had was if I could look at Elijah Cummings and find out who broke in. I know nothing about this, so I'll be reading it just straight from the cards and the energy, and I have no idea what we'll find because I don't know anything about this. Can Spirit tell us anything about the break-in with Elijah Cummings? What is going on there? Elijah Cummings and a break-in. The base card. Strength, coming out of some kind of a confinement. So did anything get taken? I don't know if anything was taken going into this energy. Was anything taken? It looks like it's, they're going to jail. They're going to get arrested. A strength card with a card of restriction, 8 of Swords, and then Wheel of Fortune coming in. Karma. Nothing was taken. I don't see a thief. There's no thief card here, anything like that. It's more that they came in and they broke things up. So the intention wasn't to steal. The intention was to create chaos. Tower moving in the 4th house. It's a warning. Whoever it was is probably a Trump supporter or somebody who is extreme right, probably not sanctioned by Trump. I don't think it's sanctioned by Trump. It's more that these people take it upon themselves to represent Trump. But Trump doesn't necessarily give the order or anything like that. But you can see the tower came in. It feels to me like it was a warning or a threat from some group to, and that's what they're investigating. And it doesn't feel like a theft. It doesn't feel like theft took place. It looks like it was smashing things up and attempting to intimidate. Ace of Wands is moving in. He's going to be fine. This is ridiculous. People are done with this. They're not going to let thugs destroy the country. Ten of Pentacles, the legacy card. That's also got aspects to it of karma. What you reap, you sow. In a legacy card. So I think they're going to find the people that are involved. I don't think the president is directly involved. I think what happens is people start these vigilante pro-Trump groups, and then they go around attacking anyone that they think is anti-Trump. And it looks like from the energy, I can see something like that happen, and they went in, they smashed a couple of things, or they broke a couple of things up, and the idea was to frighten or intimidate the congressman. That's what it looks like. Terrorism, yeah, I think it's an act of terrorism if you're going in and threatening someone because you don't like his politics, or because he's investigating somebody who's under criminal investigation. Yeah. All right, so that is that. We have time for, I wanted to do a few more minutes of this, so I have time for a couple more questions if people have them. No buffering? Yay, I'm glad. Okay. Oh, it said that Elijah yelled at the burglars and they left, Michelle? Gosh, I would love to know details about this, because it looked to me like it wasn't, they didn't take anything, they were just trying to intimidate. Right, he doesn't operate like that. He didn't, it's not like he gave implicit instructions or anything like that. I don't know anything other than what I saw on the cards in the remote, and it looked like they're going to find them and prosecute. All right. Devin Nunes. Let's go ahead and take a look at the future of Devin Nunes. What is going to happen today? Devin Nunes is starting to flip also. Did anyone notice that? There's cracks starting to happen even with the solid Trump supporters. And that's what I'm starting to get with Devin Nunes. Just a real confusion. Something happened with him and with some of the right-wing people where they're being told to back off a little bit. Isn't that interesting information? Let's see what that is about. What is going on there? Why would that happen? Devin Nunes is being warned to be careful by people that like him, that he has to be careful about about what he says and how he's being encouraged to lay low a little bit right now. The party's over, the wedding's over. 10 of Cups and then a Tower. Something's about to hit, and he's been instructed, along with some of the other supporters of the president, to simply remain quiet. Like there's a feeling like they're going to start becoming quiet. Something happened. Something's happened recently with Devin Nunes. Look at that. That is not a happy marriage. Where he's at right now. Oh, somebody had a talk with him. Somebody had a talk. Wow. People are starting in the Republican Party are starting to pull back from this president. Look at that. 9 of Wands coming in, and the Judge card, sound judgment. What is above him? Look at this, Devil card. Something happened where he wound up in a situation with this president that he now can't get out of. He made promises to certain people. He made promises to certain people, or he made an agreement or arrangement with certain people, and now he can't get out of it regarding Trump. Had to do with money or offer or business. The Devil card is over the money card. So there's something about the Trump presidency that was personally beneficial for him financially. I'm sorry, but that's what it says. where he's at right now. It's the issue of partnerships. The Pentacles moving in. Getting out of the cold, getting away from a situation that keeps you in exile, trying to get back into the church. Man, can you believe that? For Devin Nunes, hopes and fears, his partnership. He was a fool. He's pulling back. Wow. I did not expect that. So he's been instructed to lay low, that they're going to be hit again with another scandal. And it looks like the Dems are going to get the tax returns. And so people are starting to get scared. They realize that they've lost the war. And so instead of, they're not ready to openly attack this president because of where the nation is. So instead, they're just quietly retreating. Trump who? I don't know anybody named Trump. Same with Fox. They just talk about sports now. They talk about Disney things. They talk about happy things. You know, they're just not as enthusiastic about this president. And it's the same feeling we had right before Epstein got arrested. This feeling like something is amiss or something is a brew and the public doesn't know about it. It's about to happen. And Nunes and other people are whispering about it and something's about to hit. Gosh, it's the Tower in his base card regarding the issue of his partnership with Trump. Ooh, it could also mean that Trump has a falling out with him. Tulsi Gabbard. Yes, I would be happy to read on Tulsi Gabbard. It's a great thing about the Blitz. Whatever you want. 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes. All right. Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard. Spirit, what can you tell us about Tulsi Gabbard? I know Linda G doesn't like her. I personally don't judge. I don't know. I have no opinion. I do, but it's not my job to have an opinion. What's going on with Tulsi Gabbard? You know, she'd be better suited to working for the military. I don't know why she left. Because she would do great in the intelligence agencies. She would be great working in security, working in the intelligence agencies. It would be a better use of her skills, you know, like working a job similar to Dan Coates would be a better use of her skills based on what I'm seeing here than being the president or even being in the Senate. I mean, or being in, being in politics, just because she seems to be able to get a lot done if she works within the military or within intelligence. Her base card is the Ace of Swords. So success, but it's also a military card. It's a sword. Swords are usually somebody who goes into the military, policing. It has a military aspect to it, and Two of Wands partnership. I wouldn't be surprised, based on what her base is, based on her mastery or expertise. She's got a master card as her first card. I wouldn't be surprised if she wound up taking some important position in Homeland Security or for one of the intelligence agencies. Yeah, you can see the Wheel of Fortune is moving in regarding negotiations about the nature of her work, and it has to do with her karma, her inheritance. But look at this, what sits in her third house, the Magician card, and where she's at mastery. She's very good at what she does, and it's about finding the right place for her. So if it's not that she's a good person, it's not that she's a bad person, it's not a judgment, it just has to do with, see, but she's also got great cards when it comes to personal finance. She's got good cards if she goes into the private sector. For example, if she's involved somehow with the military and the private sector, and she could become theoretically very wealthy, or if she works for the military, she could do quite well. but I don't see the presidency. You know, there's also an opportunity. The Queen of Pentacles coming in with a Judgment card. There's a possibility that she leaves politics and goes into some type of private business, like private contracting or something like that. It'd be very interesting if she did. If she does, it would be a good use of her skills, and she would do very well financially. Oh, yeah, I just think that the military, you know, it's the military. They have a different way. I don't know. I don't believe she's. I think she's a moderate, and she's pro-military. Oh, do I think she's involved with Russia? I didn't get anything like that. I just, yeah, that wasn't the impression I got. What was that question? NSA's corruption of 2,000 private contractors. I don't know anything about that, so I don't think I can throw on that. I think that if Warren listens to me, his VP will be Buttigieg. Because he's from the Midwest and he would take the Christian vote. I've said that, but you know, she's going to do whatever she wants to do. But if you want my 2 cents, I think that if Buttigieg went up against Mike Pence in a debate, he would eat him for breakfast. So it would be very wise to pick Buttigieg as your VP. All right. We have time. I think we'll do one more. Let's go ahead and do one more. I don't know who David Clark is. Who's David Clark? I don't think Marianne Williamson's not going to be the president. So. It's huge, Whimsy. Americans have been secretly put on watch lists for money. I don't know what that's about. Oh, is Nancy safe? Warren Buttigieg. Yeah, Warren Buttigieg was Pelosi threatened. Let's look at Pelosi. Pelosi's in Africa. Yes, they went back to Africa. Did everybody see the pictures of Pelosi with, what's her name? Omar? She's like, I went back to Africa, and Pelosi came. They're doing a tour. I really want to go myself. Okay. So we are doing, what are we doing? Remind me, I got a reading Alexandria Cortez. What was I doing? Can somebody remind me? I'm like total space cadet. Warren 2020. It's looking like it's very likely to move in that direction. Oh, thank you for loving the Blitz. Oh, Pelosi was Pelosi. I worked all day. All right. Is Pelosi going to be okay? Is Pelosi being threatened? Okay. Oh, God, she really wants to say something. Hold on a second. Okay, so this is something I'm supposed to say that I got wrong, and I had a dream, and in it Pelosi showed up and said, you got that wrong, you need to go and tell people you got it wrong. She said, I don't do backdoor deals. I don't do backdoor deals. It is very important that people understand that I don't do backdoor deals. So that's not what's going on. You know, there are things that are going on privately that are security risk, but she wants people to, she's not privately making secret deals that are going to impact Americans and go against our best interest. It's really more about the fact that there are things that had to be secured. You know, if you're going, okay, kids, you want to go for impeachment, we have to have a strong case, and we have to make sure that this president doesn't have any weapons that, you know, at his disposal, like shutting down the government, etc. Where she's at right now, health, healing, and mastery. She's very much somebody who prides herself on being a professional. So the mastery card comes in, the healer, the person who brings messages of peace or healing, the bearer of the medicine is another way of looking at the Page of Cups. It's the message of the medicine. It's interesting that there's a fish, because water signs, fish, Pisces, but it's also associated with the medicine. It's the medicine card. Where she's at right now, she doesn't let it bother her. Two of Swords, which means that anything that is going to be a distraction is phased out with the Two of Swords. What crosses her? Magician card. No, she's feeling very confident about where Congress is headed and where the country is headed. So her message to us is, no, I'm very optimistic about where the nation is headed. And that's all she'll say about it. Nice Magician card crossing her. What is above her? She's having a much more positive relationship with freshmen and spending time cultivating and working with the freshmen than people realize. She not only is spending a lot of time with the Fabulous Four, but she's been really cultivating the relationship that they have with each other, because she realizes that her time in Congress is limited. And so she's really trying to raise up the next generation of strong leadership. So it's something she's very conscious of. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's why she took the trip to Africa with Omar. It's because of this need to cultivate these types of relationships. What she sits in, she's physically exhausted. She's not going to lie. She's physically exhausted. She doesn't know how much longer she can do this. It's more a feeling of physical exhaustion. When I go into the energy, when I sit in her energy, there's arthritis, there's back pain. My joints don't feel that good. It's just the natural consequences of growing older, being tired. What I like about her cards, though, it's always about this incredible professionalism, being above board, following the law, following the letter of the law, crossing your T's, dotting your I's. Yeah, she stands in strength. The Perfect Judge. Also her card, because she's a fire sign female. Where she's at right now, smoother days are ahead. Six of Swords is the message that smoother days are ahead. There's a real feeling when you go into Nancy Pelosi's energy that she feels, whether we are consciously aware of it or not, that the worst, on some level, the worst is over, in the sense that it keeps talking about hamstringing or controlling this president. They got rid of everybody. I mean, literally everybody in his cabinet that was corrupt, from Flynn. When you think about it, everybody is gone. The only person that turned out not to be a spy that seems to genuinely want to help the guy, I feel bad for him, is Kellyanne. So she's the only one that's left. Her and his kids, everybody else left. Peacekeeper, peace messages, peace offerings, peace offerings with freshman GOP. That's interesting. Didn't expect to see that. So she's getting the freshmen trained up in terms of how to work Congress, and then she's also helping them, showing them how to reach across the aisle, because you can see here the counter. The counter is the Knight of Cups in the 8th house. So that's good. That's good for us. It shows that there's, again, that willingness to work across the aisle, that energy we had talked about in the past. The Six of Wands being the hope and the fear, and then the final out. The broken man. Exile. So yeah, they're going to throw the talent on the president. They're going to impeach the president. What do you think the outcome for the nation's going to be? We should close on this. Come on, y'all know. What do you think who's going to win? Who's going to win the hearts and minds of the nation? The Constitution. So the Emperor, the Constitution, which is my card for the Constitution, is the final outcome. Calm, steady, don't be emotional. Cross your T's, dot your I's, ladies. Working with them to receive the training, do it properly, reach across the aisle, slow and steady wins the race. She's exhausted, but she's doing she's doing well, and she feels that we're in a good position right now. All right, folks, I think we're going to call it a night. I'm gonna sign out. Did we get to everybody? Love the Blitz. Can we trust Tulsi? Yeah, I don't think that she's a spy or anything. I just think that she's military. And so she sees things from the perspective of the military. And her attitude is very much the attitude of the military. Get her done, get her done. You know, logic, get her done the most effective way. It's just, I think as a training, no, I don't think that she's compromised or anything. All right, my dears. Thanks, everyone, for the support. And thank you again, Michelle. I love it. It's so feminine. All right, we'll see everybody next time. And if you're still trying to get in, I might have some openings for tomorrow, but definitely next week. So feel free to go to tarotwithwhimsy.com if you'd like to make an appointment for a phone reading. I would love to work with you. Be well, everyone, and thanks for watching. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye.